Rekaman ini menyembunyikan sebuah rahasia yang cukup mengerikan. Rekaman ini juga mengungkap sebuah fakta di mana seorang wanita telah terbakar hidup-hidup di pom bensin di sebuah rest area. Beberapa menit sebelumnya, sebuah pickup hitam terlihat melaju ke tempat parkir. Seorang pria dengan sweater merah bergegas keluar. Perhatikan wanita yang berdiri di tempat teduh di sebelah kiri di saat pria itu berjalan ke arahnya. Mereka tampak berdebat sebelum wanita ini mundur dan melemparkan minuman soda ke arah pria tersebut. Rekaman video ini berlangsung selama beberapa menit sebelum akhirnya kamera menangkap sang pria menuangkan sesuatu ke arah wanita tersebut. Sekarang perhatikan bagian selanjutnya. Pria ini kemudian perlahan-lahan mundur di saat wanita ini terbakar hidup-hidup. Pria ini tidak terlihat terkejut atau bahkan takut, dan faktanya ternyata wanita ini bukanlah korban pertamanya. Pria ini telah berhasil mengakali polisi selama bertahun-tahun dan hanya wanita ini yang bisa menjebloskannya ke penjara. Namun di saat itu tidak ada yang tahu apakah ia akan bertahan selamat atau tidak.
I got that phone call. Are you Judy Malinowski's mom? And I remember thinking, what a strange question. And they said, this was the hospital and we have your daughter, that I should come now.
Ladies and gentlemen, saya Babak Nizar dan ini adalah kasus mengerikan dari Judy Malinowski. Pada tanggal 2 Agustus di tahun 2015, Judy Malinowski yang saat itu berusia 31 tahun sedang berada di pom bensin di salah satu rest area di Columbus, Ohio bersama pacarnya Michael Slager. Tepat pukul 5:08 sore hari, Judy disiram bensin dan dibakar hidup-hidup. Beberapa menit kemudian, dia dilarikan ke Ohio University Wexner Medical Center, di mana dia mengalami koma.
I've seen plenty of burns to her degree. I can't say I've seen many that have survived.
Judy was my firstborn. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was the happiest time of my life. And she was just my best friend.
Bonnie, ibunya Judy, tidak tahu apa yang terjadi pada putrinya saat itu. Ia hanya mendapatkan informasi bahwa putrinya mengalami luka bakar yang serius dan harus mendapatkan perawatan intensif. Ketika Bonnie tiba di rumah sakit, dia menuju Trauma Bay dengan bantuan seorang perawat. Namun, ketika mereka menuju ke tempat tidur Judy, Bonnie salah masuk kamar.
I went past Michael's room. I went in there and I was like, Michael, where is Judy? I'll never forget it. He looked at me and he said, it was an accident.
Bonnie tidak mengerti mengapa ada banyak polisi yang mengelilingi tempat tidur si Michael. Namun sebelum dia mengajukan pertanyaan lebih banyak, dia digiring keluar ruangan oleh salah satu petugas kepolisian. Ketika dia akhirnya tiba di kamar Judy, Bonnie pun sangat terkejut dan lemas di saat ia melihat kondisi putrinya.
All I can remember is I just started screaming, tell me there's hope, tell me there's hope, tell me there's hope. And they wouldn't tell me there was hope. They wouldn't say anything.
Judy Malinowski berusia 31 tahun, mengalami luka bakar di lebih dari 80% tubuhnya. Dia bahkan tidak bisa dikenali.
We have an equation which is based on the patient's age and percent burn. In Judy's case, she was 31 and approximately 80% burned, so that made her like 110% mortality.
Saat Judy terbaring dalam kondisi koma, Michael Slager duduk di tempat tidur yang hanya berjarak beberapa meter dari kamar Judy dengan luka bakar di tangannya. Menurut keterangan si Michael, Judy saat itu baru saja mengisi truk miliknya dengan bensin dan secara tidak sengaja menumpahkan bensin tersebut ke dirinya sendiri. Michael kemudian menyalakan rokok untuknya dan saat itulah dia tiba-tiba terbakar. Cerita ini membuatnya tampak seperti sebuah kecelakaan. Dan bagi para penyidik, tanpa sudut pandang Judy, Michael memang tampak tidak bersalah.
We were concerned with Judy passing and us not getting anything on the record. I wanted Judy's voice to be heard as quickly as possible. Doctors and nurses are looking at you like, do you want to bring this person out of sedation?
Judy, can you hear me?
Atas permintaan penyidik, si Judy akhirnya dipaksa untuk bangun dari koma buatannya untuk dimintai keterangannya, yang artinya dia akan merasakan sakit yang sangat berlebih.
Would you mind if someone asked you a couple questions about what happened? Stay calm, Jude. Stay calm, baby.
I remember leaning in to talk to her, and I don't even know if she can hear me.
Judy, this is Detective Bill Hagan with Buchanan. Can you hear me? Yeah. Judy, did you spill gas on yourself? No. Did Mike spill gas on you? Yes. Yes? Okay.
Judy mengangguk 2 kali, menunjukkan tanda-tanda yang jelas bahwa ia dapat mendengar dan memahami orang-orang di sekitarnya. Dengan jawabannya, polisi akhirnya memiliki informasi yang mereka butuhkan untuk melanjutkan investigasi.
And the police said that they were going to arrest Michael. I didn't understand.
So what, am I under arrest or something?
Right now, yeah, you are under arrest.
What am I being charged with?
You're going to be charged with felonious assault and aggravated arson.
Apa yang akan dipelajari oleh si Michael Slager ini adalah bahwa polisi telah mendapatkan bukti penting. Seluruh peristiwa mengerikan tersebut ternyata terekam oleh kamera CCTV mesin ATM yang berada di tempat kejadian perkara. Dan para penyidik telah melihat rekamannya.
Let me just be direct with you too, Mike, okay? So we saw exactly what happened. We saw you pour gasoline over top of her head. She stumbles to the ground. You lean over and light her on fire. We saw what happened. We know what happened.
That's not the way that looks. We're arguing. She threw pop on my face, and then we was going back and forth with it. And when she come in and spit in my face, and I said, "Oh, wait here. You want to ruin my stuff up?" I said, "Here, boom, I'm gonna ruin your clothes." It wasn't to start her on fire or nothing. You know what I mean? It was just to ruin her clothes.
Right, yeah.
So we knew right away that he had lied to us.
He had made several statements about how the gasoline got on Judy. And then he developed from there. Okay, I panicked, I lied about that, I shouldn't have. But she took her sweatshirt off and it didn't even occur to me that there would still be gas there.
Here's my attorney.
In this case, where I thought that there was some doubt, was to whether he knowingly caused serious physical harm.
I still have trouble understanding that someone could do that to another human being.
Di saat si Michael ini sedang diselamatkan oleh pengacaranya, para dokter melakukan segala cara untuk menyelamatkan Judy. Dalam banyak kasus, korban luka bakar seperti Judy ini tidak akan bertahan lama. Namun setelah beberapa bulan, Judy bertahan sambil menjalani beberapa operasi tanpa henti. Dia tetap tidak sadarkan diri, bahkan ibunya pun tidak tahu apakah Judy akan mampu bertahan ataupun tidak.
And there was nobody that Judy didn't love.
Menurut keterangan ibunya, Judy hanya menginginkan hidup sederhana, memiliki 2 anak dan tinggal serumah dengan suami yang menyayanginya. Pada usia 21 tahun, Judy berstatus single parent dan ia selalu menantikan seorang suami yang penuh kasih.
When I was a little kid, I would look at my mom and I just want to grow up and be like her.
People can just say like, I love you, not always mean it. But for my mom, like, I always knew that she actually loved me.
We were playing the delay game. It sounds terrible, but we were basically waiting for Judy to die so that we could charge Mr. Slager with the homicide. And we got a call one day that she was awake.
Dengan segala rintangan, Judy akhirnya terbangun dari koma. Namun, dia bingung dan juga ketakutan. Dia bahkan tidak tahu apa yang telah terjadi setelah peristiwa mengerikan tersebut.
I'm going to start by asking you your name.
Judith Ann Malinowski.
Do you know how many surgeries you've had?
Over 50.
And you're aware that you have coded 7 times, correct?
Yes.
You understand the prognosis is not good, correct?
No.
But you're fighting against it, right?
Yes.
It had to be explained to her that Mr. Slager was in jail. I remember her being emotional about that. She actually felt bad for Mike at that point.
Meskipun Judy sangat peduli terhadap Michael, dia juga dipenuhi dengan rasa takut. akan apa yang bisa dilakukan oleh si Michael terhadapnya. Di sisi lain, si Michael tidak menunjukkan penyesalan atas tindakannya dan ia tidak peduli atas keselamatan Judy. Hanya 4 bulan sebelum peristiwa mengerikan ini, pada bulan April di tahun 2015, Michael menyatakan cintanya terhadap Judy.
Mike sent me a message on Facebook. Said that he had always had feelings for me and that he loved me.
I was like, he looks like bad news, Judy. She said, Mom, you can't judge a book by their cover. And I thought, okay, back off, Bonnie.
Judy bertemu dengan Michael melalui media sosial dan dia tidak tahu siapa si Michael ini sebenarnya.
His theft, domestic violence, menacing, aggravated menacing, making a false police report, domestic violence, aggravated menacing, assault, aggravated menacing, domestic violence, assault, domestic violence, assault, domestic violence, endangering children, domestic violence, endangering children, rape, which was, I think, pled down to a sexual battery.
So he began to, I would say, dote her, like just messaging her and just everything I guess a girl wants to read, especially, where Judy was in her life.
Did you have a diagnosis and a surgical procedure when you were 27 years old?
Yes, ovarian cancer.
Okay, thank you. And you had some complications as a result of that surgery, correct?
Yes, I was placed on very strong painkillers. I got addicted to them.
And she had told me, Mom, I'm getting addicted to this pain medicine. And I said, Judy, it's fine. Just take them as the doctor prescribes them. I realized that she was a binge user. And she would go and use and self-medicate whatever she needed.
Dalam beberapa bulan setelah menjalani pengobatan, Judy mulai berjuang melawan kecanduan. Tidak butuh waktu lama baginya untuk memahami bahwa perilakunya merugikan kedua putrinya. Dia tidak yakin bahwa ia bisa mengurus kedua putrinya itu. Dia akhirnya merelakan kedua putrinya untuk tinggal bersama Bonnie, nenek mereka atau ibunya Judy. Sementara si Judy ini memasukkan dirinya ke panti rehabilitasi di sebuah tempat bernama Parkside. Dengan tekad yang kuat, tidak lama kemudian Judy pun akhirnya kembali untuk keluarga kecilnya.
And she was going to meetings, like 3, 4, 5 meetings a week. They got her on the right track, and now she's living with the girls.
She was doing the best she had ever done. Everything went downhill when Michael came into the picture.
That's when drugs and all that came into play. He brought her drugs, she relapsed, so he had complete control over her.
I don't think that Michael ever did drugs. He definitely preyed on women that had addiction problems.
Beberapa bulan kemudian, Judy menemukan sisi lain dari si Michael Slager. Ketika si Michael Slager ini mulai melakukan kekerasan fisik terhadap Judy. Namun, meskipun Judy mencoba untuk meninggalkannya, Michael selalu menemukan cara untuk mendapatkan Judy kembali.
Judy had called me when he had choked her before, and I can remember her being so scared of him.
She hid in hotels, left her own home.
Judy pernah menelpon polisi beberapa kali selama hubungan tersebut berlangsung, memberitahu mereka bahwa dia telah dianiaya oleh si Michael Slager ini, pacarnya. Namun Judy tidak tahu bahwa Michael pun menelpon polisi setiap kali terjadi sesuatu. Ia melindungi dirinya dan menggambarkan dirinya sebagai korban kepada polisi.
He knows what he's doing. He's intelligent. He's calculating. Near the end of May of 2015, I had a lengthy conversation with Judy. She flat out said that if she left him or he found out about this conversation that he would kill her. And then the call disconnected after that.
Pada musim semi di tahun 2016, untuk pertama kalinya sejak peristiwa mengerikan itu, Judy mulai sadar di rumah sakit. Kedua putri Judy bersama keluarganya, mereka mulai menjenguknya. Namun mereka tidak tahu kejutan apa yang akan mereka hadapi.
When I walked in, I definitely was like, that's not my mom. You just don't believe that that's who they're telling you it is.
The surgery was in a hospital bed. And the surgeon said, everything's gonna be alright. And she asked me for a hug. I said, no, you're hurt. I don't want her to get hurt.
Meskipun Bonnie sangat senang karena putrinya akhirnya sadar, perjuangan Judy belum selesai. Di bulan Desember di tahun 2016, persidangan pun akhirnya dimulai. Karena Judy masih hidup, jadi si Michael ini hanya didakwa dengan tuduhan melakukan tindak penganiayaan berat. Namun si Michael tetap mengklaim bahwa ini semua adalah kecelakaan. Judy tahu bahwa dia menyimpan banyak cerita. Namun pada saat itu, pengacara si Michael berpikir bahwa Judy tidak akan bisa bersaksi karena kondisinya. Jadi mereka mengajukan pembelaan tidak bersalah. Tanpa kesaksian Judy, ada kemungkinan besar bahwa Michael akan lolos dari jerat hukum. Namun kemudian, kondisi Judy semakin membaik.
She wanted to tell her story. I think she wanted somebody to finally listen to her.
Ini mungkin satu-satunya kesempatan yang dimiliki Judy untuk bersaksi. Jika dia selamat, Michael akan lolos dari tuduhan pembunuhannya. Namun, jika Judy meninggal, Michael akan didakwa atas tuduhan pembunuhan dan kesaksiannya akan dicatat sebagai bukti yang sangat memberatkan. Namun kemudian, sesuatu terjadi.
You previously entered not guilty plea and pleading a no contest plea in this matter.
Correct, Your Honor.
Slager changed his plea from not guilty to no contest. In that way, he avoided a trial, and she was not able to testify.
He silenced her again. Nothing we could do. What are you going to do?
The Gahanna woman doused with gasoline and set on fire. She will never get the chance to testify against her ex in court.
And the judge sentenced him to 11 years in jail.
The maximum sentence Michael could receive for dousing her in gasoline and lighting her on fire was 11 years, which is very similar to the penalty you would receive for lighting a car on fire.
Judy has a life sentence, and her children have a life sentence, and with domestic violence, it's ugly, it's cruel.
Mrs. Bose was correct when she said this girl has a life sentence. And you've done it, and you haven't been sorry. You've done all the things that really show what a despicable individual you are. You really do seem like one of those people that have no soul, and you need to be incarcerated. That's all I have to say. Take him out.
I can't. It's not fair. It's so hard when he just isn't even remorseful for anything. I don't mean to break down. I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard to stay strong, but it's just so hard.
Sudah lebih dari 1 tahun sejak peristiwa mengerikan ini terjadi, dan setiap harinya Judy masih berjuang untuk bertahan hidup. Hukuman yang dijatuhkan pada Michael sangat mengejutkan Judy. Ia merasa tidak mendapatkan keadilan yang layak untuknya. Dia sadar, dia mungkin tidak akan bertahan lebih lama lagi. Satu hal yang membuatnya tetap bertahan adalah kedua putrinya.
There was this part of her that wanted to make it and to live, to fight for every other woman that had been through something like that. And she was willing to do whatever she needed to do to help change the law.
Judy's law would increase the maximum sentence for intentionally disfiguring someone by up to 20 years. It's named after Judy Malinowski, who is still fighting to stay alive after being set on fire a year and a half ago.
The law would not be retroactive, meaning it won't have any impact on her case. Still, Judy continues to fight for other survivors of domestic violence.
Doctors say they really have no medical explanation as to how she is still alive, but Judy's mom, Bonnie Bose, says she believes that Judy is fighting to see Judy's law through to the very end.
All Judy wanted to do was help people. She fought so hard to help people and for justice.
This is a miracle that she survived that with her spirit intact, her will to want to help other people intact. I just think her body was giving out before her spirit.
Karena kondisinya terus memburuk, menjadi semakin jelas bahwa Judy kemungkinan besar tidak akan bertahan lebih lama lagi. Judy terbaring di tempat tidur. Para dokter hanya fokus untuk meminimalisir rasa sakit yang dirasakan oleh Judy. Bonnie, ibunya, selalu berada di sisinya sepanjang waktu. Merelakan kepergian anaknya adalah sebuah perjuangan yang sangat berat untuknya.
Although they don't give her much time, even if God takes her, she'll always be here.
Ketika prospek persidangan atas kasus pembunuhan menjadi semakin besar kemungkinannya, Judy dan ibunya, si Bonnie, dihubungi oleh jaksa penuntut dengan sebuah ide yang menurut mereka baik sekali.
And that's when they approached Judy about testifying to her own homicide. It was a long shot because it had never been done. Nobody had ever testified to their own homicide in the United States.
Namun satu-satunya syarat agar Judy dapat memiliki kesadaran penuh untuk bersaksi adalah dia harus menghentikan pengobatan penghilang rasa sakitnya.
As a mother, you know your child, where was her limitation? Could she do this even though her intentions were good?
Judy Malinowski will be allowed to testify about her own death in the trial of her accused killer.
The case that's drawn national attention.
This would be the first time that a victim was allowed to testify from the grave in a murder case.
She said, "Mom, I know I haven't endured this much pain in vain."
Tell me your name and then you're ready to testify.
Hi, my name is Judith Malinowski, and I am ready to testify on Thursday.
All right.
I think Judy expressed being tired of fighting and in pain. But she would not say to me, "Mom, I want to give up. I want to stop," because she knew what that would do to me.
Setelah melewati 60 kali operasi dan 2 tahun perawatan di rumah sakit, Judy pun akhirnya dipindahkan ke fasilitas perawatan dan tidak lagi mendapatkan perawatan medis.
Judy Malinowski's mom, Bonnie Bose, told me in an interview Tuesday her daughter's body can't take much more.
So they asked me to sign these papers, and I said, "No, I will not sign these hospice papers." She said, "Mom, I will." And she put an X. And I know Judy because Judy would have normally tried to do a J, and she just put an X and handed it back. I said, "Okay, Judy, I'll hold your hand until Jesus takes the other."
Judy Malinowski meninggal pada tanggal 27 Juni di tahun 2017. Setelah berjuang selama hampir 700 hari, dia meninggalkan 2 anak perempuan yang masih kecil, saudara-saudarinya, dan juga ibunya.
Today, I lost someone very important to me, my sister Judy, and she was my favorite sister for a very long time.
Well, a new chapter in one family's long fight for justice.
LA prosecutor Ron O'Brien calls this case unprecedented. Slager is now charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated murder.
He could get the death penalty if he is found guilty.
Di saat si Michael Slager bersiap-siap untuk persidangannya, dia tidak berencana untuk mengaku bersalah. Para pengacaranya berusaha keras untuk menolak kesaksian Judy di dalam persidangan. Dan sekali lagi, mereka ingin membungkam Judy.
We'll fight like heck to keep that testimony of the victim excluded from any jury trial.
Bonnie terlihat sangat geram. Jika rekaman kesaksian Judy tidak diterima di dalam persidangan, semua penderitaan yang ia alami dalam memberikan kesaksiannya akan sia-sia.
She went to her grave thinking that she did justice and she told her story.
Kemudian pengacara si Michael mengklaim bahwa seluruh prosedur tersebut tidak konstitusional. Pada titik ini hanya hakimlah yang dapat memutuskan apakah rekaman kesaksian Judy ini akan diterima atau tidak.
A criminal defendant's right to confrontation is of paramount importance. But the defendant in this case did have an opportunity to confront the accuser.
Thank you, God.
A potential historic decision.
Today's judge's ruling makes her the state's first murder victim to testify at her killer's trial.
New hope for Judy Malinowski's family that not only justice will be served in her death, but that her own voice will be heard in court.
Pada tanggal 5 Juli di tahun 2018, ruang sidang bersiap untuk menyaksikan kesaksian Judy Malinowski selama 3 jam. Ibu Judy hadir di persidangan tersebut. Begitu juga dengan putrinya, Kaylin dan Madison. Sidang dilakukan secara tertutup. Semua orang yang hadir menunggu untuk menyaksikan rekaman kesaksian Judy.
Could you please raise your right hand to the extent that you possibly can? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to God or under penalty of perjury? I do. Thank you.
Now, Sunday, August 2nd, 2015. Do you recall that day?
August 2nd, 2015, yes, I do.
So when you were with Mr. Slager, you indicated that the two of you stopped at Speedway. What did you stop there for?
To get cigarettes. We were arguing back and forth. Either one of us were very happy with each other.
While he went inside, you got out of the truck and went behind that Speedway. What happened as you stood behind that Speedway?
Mike came in a matter of no time at all around in his truck. He saw me and immediately slammed the truck to the park, got out, demanded that I got into the truck with him, called me all sorts of names. We argued for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then I threw my pop on him.
You threw a pop on him?
Yes. He was extremely upset. He ran around to the other side of his truck, and he got his tons of gasoline that he had kept in the back of his truck. He ran around to me and started pouring gasoline, started up my head and worked his way down. Some got through my throat as he did that.
What's his demeanor as he's pouring the gasoline on you?
Evil, just completely evil. He's not responding to any of my cries for help. Like, you want to throw a cop on me? See what I'll do to you, bitch. And how do you like this? I looked at him and he pulled a lighter out of his pocket and he started walking towards me. And I just remember crying and begging for help. And he let me on fire, and the look in his eyes went back, literally. I thought for sure I was dying. I just prayed to Jesus to please forgive me for my sins and to take care of my children. And
did you at any time produce a cigarette and ask for a light?
No.
Okay. As a matter of fact, did you have any cigarettes on you?
No.
Judy telah menceritakan sisi ceritanya, namun perjuangannya belum berakhir. Saat itu pihak pembela akan melakukan pemeriksaan silang terhadapnya, yang berarti mereka akan melakukan segalanya untuk membuat kesaksian Judy tampak tidak bisa diandalkan. Mereka menggali masa lalunya, membahas tentang adiksinya, mempertanyakan pertimbangannya. Namun di setiap kesempatan, Judy tetap berdiri tegak berjuang sekuat tenaga. Seiring berjalannya waktu, dia menjadi semakin lemah.
Can you tell us what you were wearing that morning of August the 2nd?
I don't remember.
You remember getting dressed that morning?
No, I don't. I don't remember a lot of things, but I wish I did.
It would be fair to say that the trauma you've suffered has affected your memory?
Yes.
Say that it has affected your ability to recall events accurately.
I request for great that.
Would you agree that because of the trauma that you have suffered, your ability to recall events accurately has been compromised?
My ability to what?
Recall events. Remember things.
I can recall the events, but the many details of him is what's hard for me to recall. You have to understand, on August 2nd, I was set on fire, thrown on the ground, and burnt 95% of my body.
I understand. I appreciate that. Ma'am? I just remember walking out thinking, that was awful. That was horrible. I didn't want to do it. I felt bad for her from day one. I mean, I absolutely felt bad for her.
3 hours of questioning. I couldn't interrupt. I couldn't knock on the door and see if she was okay. And when I went in there, she just grabbed me as best she could. And her entire burned body just shook.
Apakah kesaksian Judy ini akan cukup untuk mendapatkan keadilan bagi dirinya sendiri? Para jaksa penuntut dan juga keluarganya semuanya menuntut hukuman mati. Karena Michael tidak menunjukkan sedikit pun penyesalan dan telah menghabisi nyawa orang yang mereka cintai. Michael hanya memikirkan keselamatannya sendiri. Namun sebelum persidangan berakhir, pengadilan akan menyaksikan satu lagi rekaman video Judy yang dapat memainkan peran penting dalam hukuman si Michael ini.
Judy, I would just like you to state here, if you were to die from your injuries and Mr. Slager were to be convicted of having done that, I want you to tell a future judge what you want to see happen to Mr. Slager.
I would like to see him charged with murder and do a life sentence. I think that he deserves that.
She didn't believe in the death penalty. And while I very much think Michael Slager deserved to die for what he did, I think she had the right to tell the judge what penalty she wanted.
Judy menolak untuk melakukan pembalasan. Dia tidak membuktikan kepada semua orang bahwa bahkan setelah semua yang telah dia alami selama ini, dia tidak seperti Michael. Dan dia berjuang untuk apa yang dia yakini sampai nafas terakhirnya.
Sir, what's your plea to one count of aggravated murder without the capital specification?
Guilty.
You understand that it is a complete admission of guilt in this case?
Yes, sir.
You will spend the rest of your natural life incarcerated.
Malinowski gets her wish. Slager avoids the death penalty, but will go to prison for life.
I'm so proud of her, and I know one day I'll see her.
Judy Malinowski telah berjuang hingga akhir mencari keadilan tidak hanya untuk dirinya sendiri, melainkan juga untuk setiap korban lainnya. Dia telah membuat ibunya bangga dan menginspirasi kedua putrinya.
My mom taught me that you could stand up to anybody.
An emotional day at the State House where two young girls say they will fight to carry on their mother's legacy.
Kedua putri Judy, Kaylin dan Madison, meneruskan perjuangan ibu mereka dan akan melakukan apapun yang mereka bisa untuk meloloskan sebuah undang-undang baru atas nama ibunya.
A brave young girl stood up for her mother. Kaylin Malinowski testified before a Senate committee.
Hello, Mr. Chairman and Senate Committee. My name is Kaylin Malinowski. I am Judy's daughter. Please pass my mom's law, because together we can prevent this from happening to other families.
If the bill passes, her memory will live on through Judy's law,
We know that our mommy did not suffer in vain.
extending the sentence by 6 years for cases like Judy's where an accelerant like gas is used.
I think it's the first step towards what her legacy should and will be.
House, prepare and proceed to vote.
Well, today, every representative said yes.
Dan sampai saat ini, dengan disahkannya undang-undang atas nama ibu mereka, Kaylin dan Madison menemukan cara-cara baru untuk melindungi para penyintas KDRT lainnya.
She was really brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, saya Bapak Nizar, dan terima kasih sudah menonton.